Wow, you are welcome to 2024. This is our first video in the year 2024. Actually, after my last lecture on Python in 2023, I realized I needed to recharge. So, first and foremost, I had to attend a conference, a religious conference called WOFBEC. So, after the conference, I realized that I needed to recharge my own system so that I can give you a better output in 2024. So I took a break. You understand? Now I'm back and I intend to continue where I stopped in the Python class last year. So, but last year we were able to finish the season one. Now we are going to begin season two. But before I do that, let me just explain something to you about the things that I got from the conference and then how I'm going to relate this to the study of Python in a practical terms. Because at the end of the day, what I observed is that after our education, if all we do is looking for jobs, then there is a very big and serious problem awaiting us. So I'm going to practically show you the link of what I saw in the conference and the Python class that I'm teaching. My first takeaway was the very message of the host pastor, Pastor Kojo Imade, when he climbed on the pulpit to talk about science and religion. My YouTube channel is Religion, Science and Technology, and then my Facebook page is also about this concept. I've always believed that um, there was no separation between science and religion, you know, but I couldn't really figure out where that separation was made. I studied electrical electronics engineering, and I've also been brought up from the Christian religious background. So, looking at these two, I've tried to fuse them together because I tend to see the relationship between them at the workplace. So, I've always believed that there was no difference between science and religion. But when I saw a pastor come on the pulpit and try to explain to me that these two were actually one before they were separated, I had to go back to make my research and I realized that I've actually seen this before during the time of Galileo, but I didn't see it from the religious perspective that this scientist was actually a religious person who was using his religious knowledge and his scientific knowledge to argue out a particular heresy as at that time looking at the solar system, you know. But when I saw him do that or saw him preach that, and I went back to check my research, I saw it clearly that this is my takeaway in the conference. Then I went further to listen to the other pastor's speech, the concept of faith, and that was it for me. So, what I took away from that conference is what I'm going to use to explain Python to you going forward this year. And what is that? First and foremost, I've established in my own conviction that you are a spirit being with a soul living in a body. But your body and your soul are not part of you as a spirit being. Both can actually be separated from you. So then, what is the function of your body? What is the function of your soul? In programming or object-oriented programming, there is what we call, for example, Python. Python is a programming language that actually is used in the area of object-oriented programming. Now, everything in Python is object, just as we have the human world. We are all object. Now, these objects are actually formed from the class. And what is a class? A class is actually an embodiment of method, which is functions and data. That's what it is, an embodiment, because that is the concept of object-oriented programming. So an embodiment of data and function is in the class. And then you can use this to write whatever program that it is that you want as a solution to a problem. Now, how does this work with humanity? Because all these other concepts are gotten from humanity. Same thing. Your body, your five physical senses are used to capture data. That is what your body is for, to capture data. Now, there is this sixth sense, if you permit me to say it that way, which is what? Your mind. Now, what does your mind capture? Your mind captures thoughts. These thoughts are like the functions that you use in programming. Now, your soul is like the class, which is an embodiment of the data captured by your body and what? The function captured by your mind. So they are both stored in your soul. Now, when there is a problem, you as the being, as the spirit being, will now go to your soul, take out this combination of your thoughts and the data that you've captured, and then you will now be able to create an object, which is what? The behavior, a reaction to whatever you see as a problem on the outside. So that behavior that you create is what every other person on the outside will observe, right? So the data and the thoughts are things that can flow like a stream of water. So you can just observe them without passing any judgment, meaning classifying them as good or evil. You can observe them and they will pass. Or you can decide to take them in by inviting them in. You can invite that thought in, you can invite that data in, and then you store them in your soul. And then when there's a problem on the outside or there's an imbalance in nature on the outside, you go in and then use this to create a behavior. And this your behavior will have to either increase that problem or reduce it. Meaning you are using what you have as data and thought to create behavior that helps to balance nature. So that is basically what you are doing in the world. Now, the world is like your computer screen. The world is like a computer screen or your phone screen, which you are using to watch this video that I've recorded. Now, this video has nothing to do with your screen. You can use that screen to watch this video, and immediately after that, you watch something else. None of them is attached to your screen. Now, that is how the world is. So the world is just a screen that you use to project the behavior that you create from the data and the thoughts that you have stored in what? Your soul. Now, where you go into your soul to find a function or to find a thought and data to create a behavior to balance or solve a problem on the outside, where you cannot find, then you need another tool, which is what? Faith. So faith is not a physical tool. So that tool is what you will now need, which is you now as a spirit being. You will need a tool called faith to connect to what? To grace, which is what has been created by God. To connect to grace and then pull out all the things that you need and then store back in your soul to create the behavior that you now need to solve the problem on the outside. So that is how you get your Rema. Right? So that is basically what I took away from the conference. And I could link this to Python. So what I'm going to teach you in this series of Python class is to show you the functions, is to show you, we've done in the first series, we've talked about data. So in this new series now, we are going to talk about the functions. And then you are going to see how I link these functions to the data. And then you will see the what? The flow statement. How the sequential flow of everything to give you whatever it is that you want. So we are going to look at data in one hand. We are now going to look at the function. And then we are going to use them to create a flow. And you see the sequential flow. We look at the if statement to be able to do the things that we want to do. So what I am teaching you now, like I said before in my previous series, is that we are still looking at the logos. We are reading the textbook. We are reading everything, trying to create, looking at the logos. Now, after these logos, we now have to fuse the data and the thoughts, which is the functions. We now have to fuse them together to form behavior, which is what? The REMA, that we are going to use to balance the problem that we see in nature. That is basically what everything that I'm going to be doing this year is all about. So my takeaway from that conference is what I just explained to you, and how I'm going to link it to programming practically in order to create a solution is what we are going to be doing all through this year. So please like this video so that it will go far. Share my videos so that it will go far. And as I come back to teach you the things that I need to teach you in Python, we will now practically see how to use them to solve our day-to-day problem. So till then, stay tuned for my next video. Thank you very much for being there and waiting for me to return. Bye-bye.